Blenders. We forgot to talk about smart blenders.
Oh, will it blend? Not on this show.
I've already seen Smart Bra. Smart
yes.
Bra. Yep, Smart Bra was tweeted today.
I saw the link to that. Yeah.
Yep, I'm waiting. I'm waiting to see what the most outrageous smart thing is this year, because I feel like I maxed out on that last year, wandering around like the back halls of the Sands, which is where they keep like all the extra stuff that they can't fit in the LVCC. And maybe my goal this year will be to find the saddest corner of CES and do a nice big feature on whoever's there. Where's the saddest,
the darkest,
little corner?
saddest corner of the Consumer Electronics Show?
Shine a little DTNS light on them and see what happens. Because really, like, look, you can't do comprehensive coverage. By the way, let me know when you want a title. But there are very few.
No, we need a title. You're right.
Yeah.
I almost forgot. How's this work?
Yeah, I know. What is this show? You have Sorry I Can't Do That, Zuck, which is solid.
That's good.
DTNS, which is a little self-referential, but I like it as a logo. And the only one I thought of was, well, there's Fridge Decks, which I kind of really like. Yeah. I like Fridge Deck.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and continue your thought. I'll pick one of these.
So I guess my thought is like, okay, look, we're a 2-person, 3-person, or 7-person show, depending on how you count, right? And only one of us is going to CES this year. And my feeling of it is like, if you can't, because frankly, the entire internet does that for you, and then we try to cover what really makes news. My question always is, what can one person do that is not about smart fridges, and that is not about, oh, there's so many people here, and oh, the security is going to be really tight this year, and all this stuff? Like, what is the piece you can do that really is like lovely and interesting and audio centric? So that's my challenge. That's my personal challenge to myself. I'll take any suggestions you all might have if you see them. Just
I like the uncovered CES, because there's so much that gets covered. There's always something in the corner. Like, I remember one of the early CESs I went to and discovering that Royal Typewriters had a booth.
Mm-hmm. And it's gorgeous.
And they were, at that time, still selling electric typewriters. I don't know if they still feature that, but there was a whole bank of electric typewriters. And they also had PDAs, which tells you about how long ago this was, and other digital devices like label printers and stuff like that. But they were getting no love. Like they were getting their trade people coming in, obviously, but they were getting no coverage by anybody for anything.
Yeah, I think that's what I want. I don't want the hippest thing and the newest thing, because I personally am not CNET, and they do an excellent job, and so do many other publications.
Yeah, when I was there, and I know it hasn't changed. Has like 40 to 50 people. Just out on the floor at any given time. Yeah,
I feel like maybe it's not right for this show, but I would like to cover this year. My theme will be the sadness of CES. CES sad.
Maybe you could make a positive spin and do like cheering up CES.
Yeah, what if my goal was just to go around and make people smile at the sad booths and the booths where
I love that. I think that's fantastic.
To just have a chat like a human and have them tell me something interesting.
So this is not so much, like, this is activist journalism, right? Except like
it is.
Absolutely.
Your element is just to cheer people who are otherwise depressed up.
Yeah. Like the people whose shipment didn't arrive, or they're missing a box, or like something. Like, I just want to go like say, hey, you're doing okay. You're here. It's okay.
Well, or you can just find the people with completely trashed displays and let them know next time. Let the union guy move your box, and maybe somebody in the middle of it will destroy your set.
You should do a video. In the empty spaces. There's always a booth that's empty that somebody didn't show up for, and then like just imagine what would have been there, and
supposed to be
ask
based
people.
On, like, the
you could
app.
do a man on the street where like you ask people like, what booth do you think this would have been?
Actually, you should do a whole video bit. What I should do is find an empty booth and do a whole video bit about the newest, hottest stealth technology, and and it's right here, and it's amazing. But all of a sudden I'm not trying to be Billy on the street. But
This
CES
booth
makes me
looks
wanna do
empty.
that because it's so impossible to grip. It's just too much.
Yeah. No, it's true. And in the past, my big revelation a few years ago was not going to CES because as I said in the show, I realized that I was just sitting there covering it the way I would cover it at home anyway, because I couldn't cover anything in person. And it was kind of nice in the evenings to go to the press conferences and say, oh yeah, I got to pick that up. But it just wasn't worth the hassle when so many other people are doing it. Yeah. And that's what Jenny's providing, is that I got to pick it up aspect. I got to try on the Oculus, hopefully, something like that.
Hopefully, this is the year.
But now my realization after not going several years is how much of this is covered because people feel like they need to justify all the trouble they went to go to CES.
I guess that's the thing, and that's really what I like. You gotta cover something, right? Because otherwise, why is the CNET, Business Insider, Vox Media, expense account putting this cost on there? It just seems odd. It just seems like all of these companies that are going to spend a ton of money to get you to pay attention to something also then spend a ton of money launching other products by themselves and probably get more of the news cycle for doing it. So you even have to wonder how much, if you are a Samsung, if you are an LG, how much do you really want to put out your big flagship stuff when it's just going to be in this gang handshake of all these other tech announcements?
Yeah, it's interesting. That's why Microsoft pulled out. They pulled out of CES. Because they were like, we can get more bang for our buck outside of CES when we're not competing with everybody else.
I mean, Apple did that with Macworld.
Yeah.
A conference dedicated to them.
Apple never went to CES.
Apple never went to CES, and when faced with, okay, do we want to announce everything on our own time where we can bump it back internally a week and it's not going to be a big thing, or have us pegged into one element, one timestamp, in a conference dedicated to how great we are and how much everyone loves us, they're like, yeah, no, we'll just do it ourselves.
Yeah. And so I think it makes sense for the smaller companies, or maybe even in some sense the overseas companies like an LG, to say, well, let's do this because it's harder for us to get coverage otherwise.
Yeah, which is why I think VR is an exciting thing for CES this year, because you're finally starting to see these companies sort of become retail companies as opposed to just sort of tech demos, whereas CES loves a good tech demo.
Yeah.
We love to cover things that people might actually buy, and Oculus becoming a retail product in the next few days, HTC Vive, which is apparently, again, the VR demo, looking to be released. PlayStation VR is going to be a thing this year. Now you're like, okay, this is a fringe element with major money behind it that wants press, and you're going to have a lot of thirsty-ass press people looking for something to cover.
And it's not, and as I always try to point out every year, CES isn't just for press coverage. It's also the original purpose and the continuing purpose is to strike deals with retailers and suppliers and wholesalers. And so there's companies that go and they don't care about whether they get press coverage. They're there to kind of sign up their inventory deals for the coming year.
Yeah. No, I mean, and in that, it doesn't have to be sexy, right? Like, if you are just looking to move the fridges and you want to find how many fridges Best Buy is going to move this year, and in all these other big box retailers or everywhere else, this is just a good way to do that. It is a trade show, after all. But as far as I think Jenny is going to do great work out there, and aside from that, I don't know exactly how much DTNS needs to cover it beyond the fact that there are going to be cool announcements, and you'll cover them like every other cool announcement that's ever come out.
Well, I'm curious if anybody's even going to notice what I did on today's show, which is I covered about 4 or 5 fewer stories than I would have the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Like Asus had an announcement, and I was like, Asus had a phone announcement. So I was like, We're just not going to put it in there and see if anyone really, if it, you know, do people say, hold on, you didn't seem to have as comprehensive coverage, or the fridge. I mean, and the rollable, really the rollable screen was the one that started me thinking like, well, wait a minute, I've covered this from Samsung. I've covered it from other, I think Sony. Like, this isn't anything to cover yet. Rollable screens is something to cover when they're like, here's a product that will ship in Q2.
It is about as much of a story to me as the Faraday Motors Batmobile sketch that they put out today, where it's like, yeah, let's just see, because that's the other thing is at the risk of furthering my Apple fanboy reputation, there is an art to getting things out onto the market. There is an art to getting things at the price that you need to make a profit on it and to have it be successful. And it doesn't cost you anything to create a demo version. Vaporware is vaporware for a reason. And until it's got you have a practical application for a rolling screen, then what the hell are we doing?
I want a rolling screen, but why I wanted one for a long time, because it would just make things so much more convenient, especially if it was a touchscreen. You can have rollable components in it too. I mean, that's the thing. Like, rolly screen is one thing, but you're still gonna have to have some flat base for it to get the rolly components.
Yeah, and now listen, we are trying very, very hard in our apartment in Oakland to live the small footprint lifestyle, and anything, if we could have a television that was just sort of like, had a smaller footprint and wasn't always just this big flat brick in the center of our apartment, that'd be great. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Well, a small footprint was 2015's hot trend, Justin. Roll-up footprint is 2016's hot trend.
Gotcha. And next year, the zippable television.
I'm trying to live the roll-up lifestyle. Everything I own can roll up. Yeah, I mean, Jenny also pointed out the random celebrity factor is definitely, I mean, I did dance within a few feet of Bill Gates one year.
So that's cool.
That was a Comdex, but still. So I'll always have that.
We'll always have Vegas, Bill.
Bill doesn't know, but I do.
Yeah.
The 3 security guards surrounding him while he was dancing also. Probably.
Oh, man. I wonder where Jenny went.
I didn't see when she dropped.
The allure of the fridges, we're calling.
It was too much for her. Did she say anything in Slack? No? Oh, I wonder if her internet just took a... Oh, I got kicked out the Hangout the second Molly Wood walked in the door.
Oh, what a bee.
Magnetic field.
Yeah. By the way, I was looking for podcasts in the great podcast blackout of the holidays. I was at the Mercy and decided I realized that I hadn't subscribed to Marketplace, so I subscribed to Marketplace. Turn it on, and look who's guesting for Kai Risdall. None other than the lovely Molly Wood. I was very excited.
Sweet. I got one of those comments just now on the Daily Tech News Show blog where I couldn't quite tell if it was spam or not. That's how good the spammers are getting.
Oh, really?
But it doesn't link to anything. But it was like, it's an AOL address.
What does it say?
I wholeheartedly agree with the rankings. Amazon story will always be my favorite. So funny. It's a response to the Weekly Tech Views post from Saturday. And it was fun to reread the other top stories, especially when you can personally relate to them. Good job.
Too positive. Can't be a real person.
You know what I'll do? Well, but see, the keyword search could do that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, to approve or not to approve. Because what they do is they try to get an approved post so that their post will automatically be approved in the future. That's what the spammers try to do. Well,
All right.
Susie, if you hear this, send me an email.
I'm sorry.
Sorry,
all right.
Susie. Yeah, well, I'm out of here too. So
Adios.
thanks, everybody. Goodbye.